Okay, getting into our second to last TSI prep. Gonna go back over a few things with geometry, okay? So first thing, complementary and supplementary angles. Complementary angles, okay, these add up to 90, okay? So it says given two complementary angles, 2x and x plus 3, find the value of x and the measure of each angle. So if complementary angles add up to 90, we just need to take our two angles and they add up to 90, right? So we combine like terms, 3x plus 3 equals 90, subtract 3, be 87, and if we divide by 3, that would be, what, 29? Okay, so there's our value of x, and it also says find the value or the measure of each angle. So our two angles were 2x and x plus 3. So we just found x. So if we go 2 times 29, that would give us 58 degrees. And then 29 plus 3 would be 32 degrees. Okay, and if we check, 58 plus 32 is 90. So we're good there, right? Now for two supplementary angles, it's going to be very similar, but these add up to 180. Okay, so it's going to be the same steps. So this time our angles are in, and 3n plus 6 equals 180. So like terms, that would give us 4n plus 6 equals 180. Subtract that 6 over. That's 174. Divide by 4. And what is that? 174 divided by 4. Let me see. Should be able to use a calculator on this stuff, so I do not have mine with me. There we go. 174 divided by 4 is 43.5. Okay, so there's our in, and then same thing, we need the values or the measures of the angles. So one of them is in, so one of them is 43.5. And then if we plug in 3 times 43.5 plus 6, right? Again, you'll have a calculator. If we plug that in, we get 136.5. Okay, and again, those two do add up to 180, so we're good to go there, all right? Now, angle pairs, right? Having to work with these. Bunch of different things going on, but basically you just have to know, do my two angles, are they equal, or do they add up to 180? It's pretty much what you're looking at here. So corresponding angles. So in this first part, angle 1 and angle 2, and this guy, they're equal. Corresponding angles are congruent, or they're equal, okay? Same thing with alternate interior angles. In this one, angle 1 is congruent or is equal to angle 2. Alternate exterior is the same thing. They're equal. Vertical angles are equal or are congruent, okay? Now, when we start getting into same side interior angles, in this case, angle 3 and angle 4, they're not equal, but angle 3 plus angle 4 does give us 180. They're supplementary. And then same thing with these. Angle 3 plus angle 4 is 180. They're supplementary, okay? So basically we just have to know, do we need to set our angles equal to each other, or do we need to add them, set them equal to 180, okay? So as we look at this, we're given these two angles here. We're given this guy and this guy, okay? Now if we look at that based on our figures here, these are opposite sides of this line. So this line right here is called your transversal. They're on opposite sides, so they're alternate, and they're alternate interior, right? They're in the same positions as this guy right here, right? So they're equal. So we just need to set these two things equal. So 8x minus 4 equals 68. And we solve. So we get 9, okay? Same thing with this, just got to figure out what type of angle pair they are. And if we look at this one, they're on the, again, if we think about this transversal, they're on the same side of that transversal. So they're same side, right? Which are same side are these guys right here, right? Same side, right? And they are same side, they're inside, so they're same side interior, right? So these, we need to add them up and set them equal to 180. So we're gonna take 20x plus 5 plus 24x minus 1 equals 180, right? So we have like terms, that would give us 44x, that would give us plus 4. Okay, subtract 4. It's 176. And if we divide, we get x to be 4. Okay? So, again, just have to know whether I'm setting the angles equal or adding them up to 180. Okay? Then, quick review of your triangle congruence things here. So, with these, we have a few. There was side, 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 angle, and angle, side, right? So what we have to think about for side, 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 right? Remember these little tick marks means this and this side are congruent, right? So we would say side one, double tick marks means these two sides are congruent. So we'd say side two, and then triple tick marks, these sides are congruent, right? So that's what we're looking at there. So side, side, side means we have 3 sides are congruent in 2 triangles. So the 2 triangles are congruent, okay? Same thing here. This side congruent to this side, oops, that's 2, congruent to this side, and then this angle is congruent to this angle. So this is angle 1, so side, angle, side, okay? Here, we have these sides are congruent. This angle is congruent to this angle, so angle 1, and then this angle is congruent to this angle, so angle 2, right? So angle, side, angle, right? And then this last one, we've got this angle congruent to this angle, congruent to this angle, and then this side congruent to this side, right? So angle, side, right? So we just have to figure out, based on that, what's the reason why triangle ABC is congruent to triangle JKL. So if we look at our marks here, this side is congruent to this side. This side is congruent to this side. And then we have right angles. That's what the box means. So right angles are 90 degrees. So these 2 angles are congruent. So if we go side, angle, side, those 2 triangles are congruent for that reason right there, okay? And then we can go through and match the parts, right? So match the congruent parts in the figure. So basically, all we need to do is say, okay, AB, and I'm gonna go ahead and erase this stuff over here just to clean it up a little bit. Okay, so AB is this side. It is congruent to this side. So KJ, okay? And then BC, so this side, matches up with this side. So KL. And then this side matches up with this side. So AC is congruent to JL. Okay. And then for angle ABC, so remember with angles, again, I'm gonna erase this just for a second so we can see this a little bit better. So angle ABC, so ABC would be this guy, would match up with that. So JKL. Okay. And then, let's see. This one, BAC, AC would be KJL. And then the last one, let's see, BCA. So BCA would be that guy, would match up with KLJ. Okay, so that's how we can match up those things there. Okay. All right. So now looking at this last page here, distance and midpoint. Just going off of the number line we're given here. So if it's just a number line, right? Finding the length of each segment. Okay, like AB in number 7 just wants to know how long AB is, right? So the actual math way you can do this is you take the absolute value of and you subtract your two endpoints. So like A is at -4 and B is at -1. So we would subtract those and take the absolute value. So we'd go -4 minus -1 would be -4 plus 1. So that'd be -3. Absolute value of -3 is 3. So the length of AB is 3. Okay. Now, if it's on a number line, you could physically just count 1, 2, sorry, 1. Let's try that again. So from A, we're going 1, 2, 3 to get to B, right? So you could physically just count those. Okay. Now, like I said, the actual mathematical way you would do it is you'd take the absolute value, subtract the two endpoints, take the absolute value of it. So if we look at AD, so A is at -4, D is at 2, so we go there. Absolute value, -4 minus 2 is -6. Absolute value of -6 is 6, so AD is 6. CF is at 0, or sorry, C is at 0, F is at 7. So 0 minus 7 is -7. Absolute value is 7. So CF is 7 units long. And then BE, -1 is B, E is 4. So -1 minus 4 is -5. Absolute value of that is 5. So BE would be 5, okay? And the midpoint, you're just gonna take the average of your 2 points. So remember, to take the average, you just add up your numbers and divide by how many numbers there are, right? So we're gonna, since we have 2 endpoints, we're gonna be adding our numbers and dividing by 2. So A, the midpoint of AB, so A is at -4, B is at -1, we're gonna divide that by 2. So that would be -5 over 2, which is -2.5. Okay, FB, so F is at 7 plus B is at -1. So that would be 6 over 2, which would be 3. Okay, and CF, C is at 0, F is at 7. So that'd be 7 over 2, which is 3.5. Right? And then just some review with perimeter area, volume, that type of stuff. So in this case, we've got, it says, remember, the perimeter is the distance around the outside of a figure, right? It's called the circumference in a circle. area is the amount of space inside a two-dimensional figure, and volume is the amount of space taken up, or the amount of space inside of a 3D figure object. Okay. So in 14, okay, it says given triangle DEF below, the perimeter of DEF is 32 centimeters and the base DE is 12. What is the length of the altitude of FG? Altitude FG. So in this case, we've got some information. We're told these two sides are the same. And we're told this whole base down here is 12. Okay. So since these are the same, we don't know these, and they're the same, we can call them both X. So the perimeter is if we add up all the sides, right? So if we add all three sides, we should get 32, because it says the perimeter is 32. So 2x plus 12 equals 32. Subtract 12. Divide by 2. So x is 10. So these two sides are 10. Okay. But what it wants us to find is it wants us to find the length of FG. So it wants us to find the length of this right here. Okay. And it says it's an altitude. So an altitude creates a right angle. So what we've created here is we've created a right triangle. And since we have a right triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. Oops. Okay. So we know in this case our C would be 10. And then this we could call, since we've used X, let's just call this Y. Say y squared plus something squared. We just need to know what this is, okay? And this actually ends up, an altitude cuts that base in half. So this is gonna be 6. Okay, so y squared plus 36 equals 100. Subtract 36. Take your square root. So FG is 8. Okay. Find the area of a rectangle with a length of 15 and a width of 4. So area of a rectangle is length times width. So area would be our length times our width. So area would be 60 square centimeters. Okay. 16, find the area of a triangle with height of 12 centimeters and base of 14. So area of a triangle is 1/2 of base times the height. So 1/2 of 14 times 12. So 1/2 of 14 is 7. And then 7 times 12 is 84 square centimeters. Right? Area of a circle with radius 12, use pi as about 3.14. So area of a circle is pi r squared. So we'd say 3.14 times 12 squared. 12 squared is 144. 3.14 times 144. Again, you'll have a calculator available for this. 452.16 square inches. Right? Find the area of a square with a diagonal of 16 square root of 2. So with a square, we have a couple options. We can say the area is, again, the length times the width, right? Or side times side, right? But we don't actually know what the sides are. The other option, or we could say the area is 1/2 times diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay? So this guy's a diagonal. And in a square, the diagonals are the same, right? So diagonal 1 and diagonal 2 are going to be the same thing. So we can take 1/2 of 16 square root of 2 times 16 square root of 2. So 1/2 times 16 root 2 would be 8 root 2 times 16 root 2. And then if we take 8 times 16, we get 128. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 would be square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So 128 times 2 is 256 square centimeters for the area of that, okay? Find the area of the shaded region, use pi is about 3.14. So this one, you can make it super complicated, or if you look at this and you think about, well, this shape right here, right, this little semicircle, half circle, is the same as this, right? So if we just take this, if we take, oh boy, eraser's messing me up here. If we just take this and we shift it down there, we've just made a rectangle, right? So area of a rectangle, again, length times width. So the length would be 3, the width would be 2, so the area would just be 6 square inches. Don't even have to use pi, okay? And then for this one, the volume of this prism is 96 cubic feet. Find the height. So here's our prism. So the volume of a prism is length times width times height. So we know the volume is 96, length, width, height, right? So 6 times 8 times h. 6 times 8 is 48. And we divide out 48. So h is 2 feet. Okay, so that's what we're working with. So again, try out that assignment on Blend and let me know if you have any questions.